Well, hello and welcome to the Success for Women show, where you can view us on Pod TV. I am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, your host, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, today's topic is the authenticity code, and my guest is Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Dr. Hartman. She is an award winning global executive and presentation coach, leadership development consultant, speaker, writer, and educator. She is the CEO and founder of Inside Out Learning Incorporation, specializing in leadership and personal development. Inside Out Learning is an active member of WBENC and the Global Women's President Organization, which only 3% of women owned businesses meet their requirements for membership. Now, I can probably go on and on and on about Dr. Hartman, but let's bring her on and let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, Madeline.
Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. I'm so excited. I have been looking at your book, The Authenticity Code. So hey, we've just got a lot to talk about tonight. But before I get started, I always give them the standard bio on my guests. And then I like to ask the guests to tell our audience what you want us to know about Dr. Lamb Hartman.
I love it. Thank you for that. So what I'm going to do is actually read my authentic brand statement.
Okay.
So anyone who picks up a copy of the book, The Authenticity Code, can do their brand statement. And it is really our what we were here to do, what we're here to do, who we're here to be. So that's what I would like the audience to know about me is I am a global thought leader who helps as many students, professionals, and leaders be who they came here to be and do what they came here to do. I help my audience crack the authenticity code and transform into their authentic selves. I give this by helping people see and express their unique gifts and talents and by providing a safe environment so they can see and speak their truth. So that's what I take a stand for and what my greatest gift is that I bring.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to say, because we hear that word authenticity all the time. And I think sometimes people don't really know exactly what it means. Tell us what authenticity means to you, and also tell us why did you get into that area? How did you get started doing the authenticity code?
Sure, absolutely. So authenticity to me is your most powerful way of adding value by expressing your unique gifts and talents for your chosen audience, because it's an authentic choice in terms of who we want to be in front of also. Mm-hmm. So in terms of where we choose to present, where we choose to work, all of that is an authentic choice also. So that's what authenticity is to me, that we're all giving our greatest gifts and talents in our unique ways for our chosen audience. And what got me into it is I actually discovered my greatest gift. And it's a paradox that our greatest wound is actually our greatest gift to give. And so that's part of that authentic brand statement that I read. And in the book, there's 10 questions that you can do to come up with your own. And one of those questions is, what do you wish your parents or authority figures would have given you growing up that maybe you didn't receive? Mm-hmm. Nothing against them at all. They all did the best they could. Absolutely. But this is really something for you to reflect on. And so for me, I had great parents. It was celebrating my unique gifts and talents. Like I was always searching for that, Dr. Madeline, always looking outside myself for it. And when I finally got in touch that was my greatest gift to give, seeing and celebrating people's unique gifts and talents, and I started to give that And that is where I really birthed the Authenticity Code. And that's me giving my greatest gift to the world.
Mhm.
So I started to help people both through coaching, through training programs, even through leadership team offsites, to really step more into who they truly are and celebrate those gifts that each person has.
Wow. Now, I know that you've helped, like you said, countless individuals and organizations um, with your programs and your training. In what ways have you been able to affect change in those people and the organizations? How has your program helped them? And what are some of the things that you do to get them into that authenticity authenticity space?
Absolutely. So, the benefits of our programs called the Authenticity Code, we've
Hmm.
been doing these programs at my company for many years now, over a decade. And we have seen as people step into more of who they truly are, they end up landing dream jobs. They end up stepping into more confidence. So then they get promoted. So I've had a lot of people come into our programs and say, Dr. Sharon, I'm stuck. I am just stuck at a level I cannot move beyond. And then they are able to get that promotion that they never thought they could after the program. This has happened endless times. And also, it increases sales and revenue. So if you think about women-owned businesses and whether it's women or men, it is very important that you get a yes when you're presenting. And you want to be able to sell your products and services. So the more authentic you are, the more likely you are to sell. So
Hmm.
we've actually helped many sales teams, and when they're going out to do an oral presentation, to make the sale,
Hmm.
because they start to crack the authenticity code and present from that place. So it increases sales and revenue and bottom line results.
Now, I know also in your book, the Authenticity Code, um, it says the Authenticity Code, the art and science of success, and why you can't fake it to make it. One of the I know in the one of the chapters in the book is you talk about the Authenticity Code as being your presence, your audience, your presentation, and your success. Now,
Yes.
I like that. Tell us what you mean by that, because you just kind of made those different points in there, and so I just tell us what that means.
Yes. So you think about, so in authenticity, when I started to do research into the literature out there, because I'm a researcher at heart, and all I found was it's all about me, myself, and I. So regardless of you or my audience, I'm just going to be me, and you're going to have to deal with it. So I do believe your presence is a big part of the code, but it's only one part. It is you need to know who you truly are. That authentic brand statement I read. You need to know what qualities you have as strengths and which ones you're developing. And that's all about you as an individual and your unique gifts and talents. So that's your presence. And then plus your audience. So that's the audience you choose to be in front of, and it's equally important. And you need to tailor your language so you can best serve that audience. You need to know that audience and really work to move them, to inspire them. And then plus your presentation, and that's your messaging.
Mhm.
So is your messaging clear? Is it confident? And how do you get it across in the best way you possibly can? And so that when you put those three things together, that's when I think you crack the authenticity code and you achieve your desired level of success.
Mm, wow. Now, I have a comment that just came up in the chat, and it's from Renee Wilhite, and she said, "Having to overcome my fears and insecurities have helped me to become more authentic and self acceptance without shame and guilt." So, just reading what she just said, your do." your training, is that helping also in some ways helping people with their mindset as to how they
Yes.
think about themselves? Because that, I noticed you mentioned you have to know yourself, which was going to be my next question, because you also had that in one of your
Yes.
chapters where you said know yourself, because that's the first step toward authenticity.
Towards
And
authenticity.
so, when she talked about overcoming her fears, and are these some things that you help to bring out of people when you're doing your training, helping them with that mindset piece?
Absolutely. And it's such a good point that Renee made. You have to know yourself, your blocks too. You know, what is stopping you? What's getting in the way? Like the example of people who have come into the program and said, I'm stuck at a certain level, I can't move beyond it. Well, what's stopping you?
Right.
What's that block? Many times for women, what I found is it is confidence. It's believing in ourselves that we can do it. And I really feel that many times men, they'll just go out there and do it. And I heard you say that in your TED talk, and I was like,
Yes.
I'm so aligned with you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
definitely, and so we though wait until we're perfect or ready,
Exactly.
and we need to get out there and do it anyway. So it's believing in ourselves. And I also think what can help us to believe in ourselves is when we have a support network around us.
Mhm.
And so I think that's another big thing is sometimes when I don't believe in myself that I can do something, having those women mentors and peers around me that are cheering me on too and saying, yes, you can. We're going to get you out there and only wanting the best for me. That
Mhm.
helps me believe in myself also.
Wow. And that is, what you said about, women coming to you and they're feeling stuck. They can't figure out how to, in some cases, move from point A to point B. That's exactly what I get. And I guess I need to read up more on your authenticity code so that I can implement that into my programs, because I get the same thing. It's like, oh, I want to move into an upper management or executive level position, but I've been in this position for so long, I just don't know what I need to do, or what steps do I need to take to get there. And a lot of times too, like you said, it can be a mindset thing. It's just that sometimes you're doubting, as women, that they're doubting their own abilities. So
Exactly.
I love when I was looking at the chapter on know yourself, because you have to know, your worth. You have to know your value. You have to know what you bring to the table and be confident with that. And so
Exactly.
that's why I really love with it. That chapter just kind of stood out to me.
Yes, and connecting with that authentic brand statement for you and saying, okay, this is my uniqueness. This is my unique gift that I can bring and be confident in that's your God-given gift. So use it and be it and go out and shine.
Yes, absolutely. Now, another thing that I saw that you had in the book, you talked to us. You talk about the authentic APQs, which
Yes.
authentic presence qualities. Now, tell us, about that. What are they? What are those APQs? And should we be looking for them, looking at them, or improving on them?
Yes, so definitely we have done research into 12 qualities that if you exhibit them, you're more likely to be successful
Okay.
and also authentic. So for example, warmth
Hmm.
and having that, whether it's a warm smile or a nice greeting, or saying something nice about someone
Hmm.
or doing something special for someone. Openness, are you open to new ideas? Respect, trustworthiness, integrity. These are all authentic presence qualities. Sincerity, even polish and poise, how you show up in your image, and passion, inspiration, thoughtfulness, confidence, clarity. So there's 12 qualities. And in the book, It's written as a parable, Dr. Madeline, because I wanted it to be interesting and engaging and fun. But in the back of the book chapters, there are activities from our programs. So it's like you have a coach in your living room as you read this book, and then you're applying what you read in the chapter that the characters are going through to your own life. And there is a self-assessment that you can take on those 12 qualities that you can see which are the ones you're strong in and which do you want to grow in. Mm-hmm. And that's in Renee's question about confidence. If that's one of the ones you want to grow in, and that might be a block for you, to actually put in place some action plans of how are you going to step more into your confident self.
Wow. Yeah, I'm noticing that now, and just looking at and by the way, to my viewers out there, authenticity code. If you don't have it, the authenticity code, that's a tongue twister.
I know it is. I know.
The art and science of success, and why you can't fake it to make it. So for those of you who are out there, and as Dr. Sharon said, sometimes you feel stuck. Sometimes you just can't figure out what you need to do to get from point A to point B. Then, take a look at her book, read her book. There are some very interesting points in there. I tell you what, when I was reading it, because I actually wanted to make it to your reading. You had a reading session, and I wanted to make it to that, and I couldn't get out of the meeting in time, and I was disappointed about that. But that's okay, because I'm sure you're going to have another one, and hopefully I'll make that one. But it just hits so close to home, and the things and the training that I do, that I just really found it really interesting. So another comment in the chat is saying no. Again, from Renee, she says, saying no when I really didn't want to do something, that was scary, but liberating. And you know what? That's another thing that we as women have a hard time doing, saying no. And one of the things I always say, no is a complete sentence. So you need to learn how to be able to say no and be okay with that. And again, that comes with that's a part of being authentic. Why tell someone you will do something when, as she said, you really don't want to do it, and then when you're not going to do it to, a lot of times you may not do it to your best abilities too, if
absolutely
that you really don't want to do. So
yes,
this is just really interesting, and I really would like you to kind of give us a little more on the APQs, because I know that they are, I think for a lot of women, looking at those and the way you have them, kind of broken down. And I don't think a lot of times we do that. And like I said, you hear that word authentic, being authentic.
Yes.
Around all the time.
Right.
I'm authentic. You just hear everybody wants to be authentic. But I think a lot of times people don't really understand or really know. And I was talking to someone just recently about that. They did a video, they did a little clip on LinkedIn, and they were talking about, they had seen someone giving a speech on being authentic. And they were sitting there thinking, do you really know what you're saying here? Because it's not sounding authentic to me,
Right.
So, and that's why I said, I don't think a lot of times people, when they use that word, they don't really understand it. So just kind of, for example, when you're doing your training and, you have these people that, like you said, they're stuck and you're going through these APQs with them. What do you see the most? And most of the people that come to you are, I think your audience are in your training, you handle both men and women, correct?
Yes, I do.
You see, I know we talk about the men, they'll just get out there and do it. So do you see that it's more women that seem to have the hardest time getting to that authenticity place?
I think that they have the hardest time getting to excel in confidence.
Okay.
So when we do the authentic presence quality assessment that's in the book, so you assess yourself on a scale of 0 to 5 on each of these qualities, and you come up with your 2 strengths and your 2 areas of development. So what I see is, for women, confidence is often in that area of development, and more than men. That is what I see as a gender difference.
Yeah.
So whereas men might be picking something like openness or warmth, women are picking confidence a lot and really wanting to have that belief in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we have them do an honest assessment of their own qualities. And we also have another assessment that you can hand out to professionals who know you or people who know you in your network, and have them assess you as well.
Okay.
And then you put together a plan. So for example, on page 135 of the book, or 125 of the book, there's here, there's a worksheet that helps you to think through it. So let's say you chose confidence, which is the air of assurance that communicates to others you have the required strength and resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's ways of developing it. So maybe you be prepared to address even the most difficult questions you might be asked. So you would really take an inventory of what are all the questions I could be asked that I would be afraid to answer because I don't know the answer. Right. So you think about that ahead of time so that you know how you're going to respond. That might be one way you develop in confidence. Or do you believe in yourself and the greatest gifts you bring? Mm-hmm. So it really helps you to do an assessment, and then how are you going to develop in those qualities that you want to develop in? And then how will you use the qualities that you're really strong in? Because that's part of your authenticity, those strengths as well.
Absolutely. And that's very key what you said about being prepared to answer questions that might be thrown at you, because I always say that's one of the things too with women. We always have to kind of be on the top of our game, because it's almost like we're always challenged, no matter where you go, how much, credentials or what have you have. If you're standing in the front or if you're doing a presentation, a lot of times you're always going to be challenged. And like you say, you have to be prepared for that. You can't let that one person in the room ask you a question that just takes you out and make you lose your entire focus or what have you, because there's always a way, like you said, to come back. And one is by knowing your industry, knowing when you stand up there that you have your facts and everything that you're presenting, but also knowing and being confident in yourself that you are an expert in your field, in your area, and that you are supposed to be doing what you're doing. And so therefore that question that comes to you, maybe you don't know the answer at the time, but it still shouldn't be one of those things where that because that question was asked, all of a sudden now you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, now I don't think, you just get wrapped.
Right, exactly. And then you don't do as good a job for the rest of the presentation because you get off your game, you get into a negative mindset. So it's really okay to say if you don't know.
It is.
It really is. It's just how you say it. You can say it with the APQs. You can say it with warmth, with respect. You can say, that is an excellent question, and I'm going to get you the answer to that. And I'll get that to you by next week or tomorrow or whenever that is, and then just continue on. I mean, it's okay that you don't know everything.
Exactly. Absolutely. Wow. This is great. This is a great conversation that we're having. We're going to take a commercial break. And again, you're listening to the Success for Women show. My guest is Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman. We're going to take a few minute break, go to commercial, and then we're going to come back and go ahead with this interesting conversation that we're having.
The Authenticity Code, the art and science of success, and why you can't fake it to make it. Recognized by Wall Street Journal, awarded by USA Today. The Authenticity Code book combines the best of a page-turner parable and a practical tool business book to deliver encouragement and proven tools for cracking the code to becoming a more authentic professional or leader. When you become more authentic, you do what you came here to do and be who you came here to be. You communicate more effectively, and the success you desire in your life and career becomes achievable. Dr. Sharon teaches in a fun, engaging, and honest parable style. And at the end of each chapter, you apply her proven practical tools to your own life and career. The book is available on Amazon.
A 10-year-old founder of a company. Meet Carter, ladies and gentlemen.
As women, you and I will contribute more to our organizations, more to our families, and more to our communities. When we show up to rise up, everyone wins. Wow, thank you for, again, we are back and listening to Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman. Again, we're on the Successful Women Show, being viewed on Pod TV. And we have been having a great conversation on the authenticity code and being authentic, and actually what it all means and how we can actually use that word and use it correctly, basically. One of the things too that I saw in your book, and something that women are always, I guess, I don't know if the word is being accused of, but it's using nonverbal communication effectively.
Yes.
You know, sometimes our face will give us away. We may not say anything, but you know, the expression. So how exactly do you incorporate that in your training? How do you have someone use those nonverbal communications effectively?
Yes, great question. So we actually show how you use your hands in presentations or in communication. Because what I often see is that women or men will rest their hands if they're in a presentation, maybe here, you know, like, or in front of their solar plexus or behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, that kind of closes you off. Or even, you know, with your arms out to the side like this.
Okay.
And that closes you off, or it communicates that you might not be open, or you're covering your power center if you're putting it in front of your solar plexus. So therefore, when you're not using your hands, it's fine to use your hands to make emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not, just let them on your sides. Also know where that should be your resting point for your hands when you're doing a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And then eye contact is so critical, and especially in this virtual world, know where to look in your camera so that you're making eye contact with your audience and not looking, you know, up here or down here. So I think eye contact's very important. If you're face to face and you want to make eye contact 3 to 5 seconds with each individual, is a nice rule of thumb. So also remember, smile once in a while, especially if you're talking about something that you
Absolutely.
can bring that warmth and the facial expression. So just be thinking about, what can I do to show these authentic presence qualities like warmth and openness, even with my body language?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So also too, you refer to image in there, the authentic image. Are we actually talking about how we show up? Are we talking about our appearance, how we dress? When you talk about the authentic image, what are you referring to?
I am referring to how you show up. So it could be your dress, uh, your hair, your makeup, right? Everything. It's like you want it. When you show up, you need to think about not only yourself, but yes, be authentic in how you dress. Like I like colors, so I have on a rose top today, but also take into account your audience and think about, well, how are they going to listen to me the most? Because if I'm there as an authentic choice to be in front of them, then I don't want to dress in a way that's going to be totally distracting to them. I want them to listen to me and take me seriously.
Right.
So sometimes, for instance, if I'm presenting to a military audience with generals in the room, I'm going to wear a navy blue suit because
Okay.
I know that they will take me more serious if I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a choice I have. I don't have to be in front of that audience. If I prefer to have, pink hair and wild clothes, then go to a culture that accepts that so you can be you
Exactly.
completely.
Wow. And I think a lot of times women don't realize that you do have to, make sure that you know your audience and the professionalism of it. Because if you are working with, you show up for a business meeting and you're in jeans and a t-shirt, that's okay. Did you find out first where you were going? Did you know where you were going? Or what type of meeting this was? Where were they going to be meeting? Is it in the office or was it going to be in a park somewhere?
Yes.
I think that's something that people have to do more of. Remember that all these things, like you said, the presentation, all these things that counts, your presence, and that's all a part of being that authentic, having that, being that authentic person that everybody seems to want to be but don't really understand how to be.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and wow, it's just interesting when I looked at the things that you, especially like you said, how you have your book in parables. So I want people to understand that the things that we've been talking about and how she's been breaking these things down and it's broken down in her book. But again, she has them in parables. So it makes it such an easy, understandable read to be able to see, oh, okay, I didn't, I may not have thought about this. And then when you go into the part where you're doing the assessments or the in the back of the each chapter, that kind of to me, it kind of bring it even more into focus so that you can relate and understand what you're talking about in your book. So um, I really loved how you had how you had it, set
Thank you.
everything with really.
Thank you. Yeah, and I made that decision because I started to write it more like a textbook
Hmm.
and like our program, right? Where, okay, we're going to first do the authentic presence qualities and then the brand. And then I was like, this is going to be boring to read. I do not want it to be boring to read. And I know that the millennial generation and the Gen Zs, they love story and they love movies.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be more engaging. So I wrote about two professionals who were competing for the same job and
Hmm.
how they had to go on this self-discovery to learn more about who they truly are, and then who gets the job in the end and why. And
Okay.
and then you can relate everything they're going through to your own life.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that looks like something that I would do. That's something that I did. It actually was very relatable. So tell us, what do you have? Anything coming up on the horizon? Any any events or programs that you have coming up that you might want us to know about?
Yes, so I am going to be presenting at a Microsoft conference in New York City, October 6th, and also doing a presentation for WeBank out here in Scottsdale on October 13th. I'm one of the WeBank We Thrive facilitators for a We Thrive program that's starting August 30th also. And I
Mhm.
would just say, I would love for anyone who would like to join our community of practice on LinkedIn. So if you want to read the book or learn more about the Authenticity Code, we post tips and best practices on that community of practice. And then others can, who are in that community of practice, can respond and dialogue about what they're learning and what they're doing. So would love for anyone to join that. And I believe you have the link for that posted. I think
Yeah, it should be coming up in the chat room.
yeah, it's link www.linkedin.com/groups/1384150/6. So I know that's long, but you can, I think it'll be in the show notes too.
Yeah, we'll have Mark run it across the screen for us before we go.
Yes.
Also, I'd like to ask you if you had one piece of advice that you could leave with our viewers and our listeners, what would that advice or words of wisdom be?
So my advice is to really figure out what you came here to do and who you came here to be, and to do it and to be it. Because I really feel our world needs all of us to be doing that right now with the state of our world. And we all need to be doing what we came here to do and being who we came here to be. And that's why I wrote the Authenticity Code, to help people connect with that
Mhm.
and to get confident enough to go out and do it and be it.
Wow. This has been a great conversation, Dr. Sharon. Tell us also if we wanted to get your book, if we wanted to reach out to you, how can we do that?
Yes. So my website is insideoutlearning.com. You can check out other programs or coaching that we do. Also, you can email me personally at sharon@insideoutlearning.com. I'm always happy to respond. And please check us out. I think check out the book. The book is on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. So it's easy to get and to find. And it just won this year in April
Yeah.
a gold medal from the Axiom Business Book Awards for the best business fable this year in 2022.
Wow. And also, too, I saw that it's on the USA best-selling book list,
Yes.
number 58. That is, hey, that's great, too. Love it.
Yes. And it reached number 2 on the Wall Street Journal bestselling list.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. This has been great. You've given us some great information today on the Authenticity Code, the art and science of success, and why you can't fake it to make it, by Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman. If you don't have a copy, you may want to reach out to her to get a copy, or you can go, as she said, on Amazon and get your copy. That's where I got mine from. So you can get a copy from them also. We are coming up on the closing time. I want to just kind of give our viewers some upcoming events where I will be, and some things that's going on August 18th, 19th, and 20th. And the 22nd, I will be running 3 sessions of Discover the Hidden Revenue in Your Business. This is 3 short forums to to find out how your business is doing, and how you might be leaving money on the table, and how you can stop doing that. If you want to find out more about that training, you can email me at info@exwsi.com, or you can just go to my website and register for the 3 sessions, which is www.exwsi.com. Also, make sure to join me on September 9th from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for our monthly Entrepreneurial Connections event. You'll be able to tell everyone what you do and what you need for your business and how you help others. You must also register for that. Again, contact me at info@exwsi.com, and I'll make sure to send you the connection information. And don't forget to make sure to put on your calendar for September 18th through the 25th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Black Business Olympics will be taking place. And of course, the Black Business Olympics is they showcase Black businesses, Black business owners, thought leaders, and corporations for 24/7 straight during that whole week. And it serves as a fundraiser for students to obtain scholarships and laptops for schools. So if you want to apply for a student scholarship, a student that needs a scholarship, you can go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. And also, I also make sure to put out there, if you have not watched my TEDx talk, make sure you do so. It's on YouTube. You can put in my name, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, in the search box, and it'll bring up the TEDx talk. The topic is Show Up to Rise Up. Also, remember that I'm a contributing writer to Own It magazine. So if you have not gotten your subscription, or if you haven't seen a copy, you can email me and I'll make sure to send you a copy of it. Or you can go on my website. If you want to get an annual subscription, you can do so on my website. And if you want to be featured in the magazine, make sure that you let us know about that, and I'll make sure that the publisher knows about it. So if you want to have your business published in a magazine, you can also reach out to me about that. Again, I want to thank my guest, Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman, for being here tonight, for bringing such great nuggets to us. Really enjoyed what you had to say. I also want to thank my viewers and listeners for joining me today. This is the Success for Women show. I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis. And if you'd like to reach out to me, my email is info@exwsi.com, or go to my website, which is www.exwsi.com. And while you're there, make sure you download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. Also, I want you to make sure that you share this episode, subscribe to our channel, and like this episode. We want to get it out there because, again, we had some great information that was shared with us today. So again, and if you want to reach out to me, you can also find me on all the social media sites. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, share, and like the episode. Again, this is the Successful Women show. We're here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Pod TV. I'm your host, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, helping women to accelerate the path to success. Thank you again to my guest, Dr. Sharon Lamb Hartman, for being here. Thank you to my viewers and listeners for joining us. I love you all to life. And as always, be well and stay safe out there.
Thank you, Dr. Madeline.
Righty.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
You see the career opportunity. You feel it's yours. After all, you're well qualified, but you don't apply. I realized that if I wanted to rise up, I needed to show up. When we show up to rise up, everyone wins. Hello, I'm Dr. Madeline Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. And my genius is helping women accelerate the path to success. You know, I was blessed to have strong women in my life who encouraged, motivated, and pushed me to do my best and to never even think about giving up on my dreams. So I say to women, we must show up to rise up. We have talents and potential, but who will see them if we don't speak up and get noticed? I know that women are a tremendous resource on this planet, and there is nothing more fulfilling than helping a woman tap into her full potential. I do this because I want to be a part of helping as many women as I can to show up, to rise up. I do this because genius is common.